So you're new to Assetto Corsa and don't know where to start to get it configured and looking as amazing as those videos that you watch on YouTube? Well, this is the video for you because I'm going to be showing you how to install Assetto Corsa, how to configure it. I'll also be showing you how to take Assetto Corsa to the next level by installing things like Content Manager, Custom Shaders Patch, Pure and the PPfilters. And all the links to everything you're going to need are down in the description below. So now that's out of the way, let's get to it. So I recommend buying the Ultimate Edition, which comes with all of the DLC content included, but don't buy this on Steam because at the time of recording this, the price on Steam was just over £30 or $37 US. Now there are plenty of sites that sell the digital Steam key cheaper than Steam. And at the time of recording this, CD keys was the far cheapest because for the Ultimate Edition, it came in at a cost of £4.99, which is just over $6 US. So to install Assetto Corsa, make sure you have the Steam client already installed on your gaming PC and you've created an account for Steam and you're signed in with that account. And then what you're going to do is you're going to click on at the top, you're going to click on Games and you're going to click on Activate a Product on Steam. Then you're going to enter the activation code from your CD keys order page. And once that's done, the game will then appear in your library ready for you to download. So once it's downloaded through Steam, an icon for Assetto Corsa is going to be placed upon your desktop. Now, we're not going to launch Assetto Corsa just yet. The next thing we need to do is install Content Manager. Now, Content Manager is a custom launcher for Assetto Corsa, and what that means is it gives you complete control of your experience out on track. You can pick and choose what car and what track to drive on. You can see that car inside a virtual showroom, a 3D virtual showroom. You can choose if you want to do a hot lap, if you want to do drifting, if you want to do a race or a practice. You can customize your opponent's cars and their skins. You can choose the track conditions, the time of day. You can configure all of your hardware. You can configure button mappings, video settings, audio settings, and you can even save these presets so you can quickly reload them too, and there's just so much more. Now there's a free light version of Content Manager which has some restrictions, or there's a full version which is a paid for version. Now you can choose how much or how little you want to pay for the full version of Content Manager. The minimum amount is £1 or just over $1 US, but I would strongly recommend buying the full version of Content Manager. So click on the link to download the light version. If you have paid for the full version, you will get an email with your key in. Download the zip file to your desktop and extract the contents of it. You'll just have 2 files to your desktop. Now click on the Content Manager icon and Content Manager loads, and before we can get into Content Manager we have to fill in a bit of information. Now if the Assetto Corsa root folder field is blank and it's just showing a question mark like mine, what you can do is you can just open up Steam, find Assetto Corsa in your library, you can right click it and then you can choose Properties. Click on Installed Files and then click on the Browse button just at the top right there. And what that will do is that will open the root folder and you can just copy and paste the full path into this field. You can also change the name here, or you can add a gamer tag which shows when you're racing in game. Now towards the bottom you can see we can choose to install a number of utilities. Install 7-zip only is what I would recommend, the others are not needed. So click OK and Content Manager will open. Now we can see here at the top right it says switch to full version, and if you click on that, this is where you can enter the app key that you got emailed if you purchased the full version. So if you paste that into there and then click OK, you'll see that Content Manager now unlocks. You'll see that the switch to full version will disappear from the top right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click into our settings button at the top. And if we click on Assetto Corsa on the left-hand side at the top and then into video, so these are my video settings that I use for VR. You can see at the bottom, down on the bottom right, this is a saved preset for VR. Now there's one setting in here which doesn't change. It doesn't matter whether I'm using my 49-inch curved or VR or playing replays, and that is anisotropic filtering. And you can see that I've got it switched off here, and there's a very good reason for that. So in the Discord channel for Custom Shaders Patch, and I will leave a link down in the description below, they have a pinned document on how it is best to configure Content Manager to get the most out of it. So essentially, it's a huge performance benefit. to have anisotropic filtering done by the hardware, by the graphics card, as opposed to having it done by the game, so software. So this is why I have it turned off. And in my NVIDIA control panel, I have the graphics card set to 16 times anisotropic filtering. That's why it's turned off here in Content Manager. So next we're just going to check the wheels and the pedals and just make sure that they're working and are seen in Content Manager. Obviously, it goes without saying you need to have the wheels and the wheelbase powered up before launching Content Manager, or it just won't find them. Check in here that your wheel and your pedals have been detected, that they're functioning when you press on the throttle, on the brake or on the clutch. And check that you can see the wheel turning as you would do in your wheel and pedal software. So next we're going to install Custom Shaders Patch, or CSP, and this extends the capability and the functionality of Assetto Corsa way beyond what the original authors of Assetto Corsa did. It adds so many effects to really bring it to life, including things like sparks. When the car bottoms out on the road, you can see the sparks flying off. It adds lighting improvements, dirt on the windscreen, rain if you pay for a certain version of CSP. It has enhancements for VR, for triple screens. It has graphics enhancements, and it just so much more. And as I just mentioned, if you want rain in Assetto Corsa, then this is through a paid version of CSP, of Custom Shaders Patch. But again, you can choose how little or how much you want to pay. I think the minimum again is £1 or just over $1, but it's well worth it. Now, once you've signed up to Ilya's Patreon page, scroll down to the first article with the zip file that's attached, and you'll see a link there which says a link to automatically install the build using Content Manager. So we're going to click on that link, and that's going to open this tab up in the web browser. If I just click cancel here, I'll just show you what this install button does. It does pretty much exactly the same thing. You can see we've got Content Manager open there. And if I just click install, this pops up. We're going to click open Content Manager. This pop-up open says, do you want to install the preview build? We're going to click yes. And as you'll see on the top right, there's sort of a green sort of download bar button. If you click on that, it'll show you what's happening. There you go. It says installing Custom Shaders Patch. I'm just going to click remove completed just to keep it nice and tidy. And next what we're going to do is we're going to click on settings. We're going to click on Custom Shaders Patch. We're going to click on about and updates at the top left there. And as you can see, the installed version is the preview version that we've just installed. So we're all good with Custom Shaders Patch. Next up is Pure by Peter Bowes, and as we can see here, it is a custom weather and graphics mod for Assetto Corsa. Now, as we click on the membership tab and scroll down, you can see here that the minimum that you can pay is £1 a month, just over $1 US dollar a month. So once you've joined Peter Bowes' Patreon site, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down to the first article that has the zip file attached to it. As you can see here, it's pure 1.90 here. I'm just going to expand the article. It shows you how not to install it and how to install it. Installation is very, very simple. You just download the file, extract it to your desktop, and run the install pure batch file. It's that simple. But as you can see here, there are high-res 16K sky domes and low-res 4K sky domes. There's a note here that says that the high-res, the 16K versions, don't actually have any impact on your FPS, your frames per second, at all. In fact, all it does is it just takes up more virtual RAM, and it only takes up 128 mega virtual RAM. So I'm going to download and install the high-res domes. And as it's a large file, I'm going to speed up this part of the process. So here's the downloaded file on my desktop. I'm going to right click this and I'm going to extract it to my desktop using 7-zip, which we installed previously. So I'm just going to double click on the folder and I'm going to go into the pure folder and I'm just going to click on the install pure.bat file. Now what this is going to do is going to ask me to find the Assetto Corsa root folder. So I'm just going to navigate to that. Mine's on the E drive. Click OK. And because I have an older version of Pure already installed, it's already removed that version for me and reinstalled the new one. So I'm just going to press any key to continue. And that's it. Pure is installed. And finally, we're down to just installing the PPfilters. Now, the PPfilters are what make Assetto Corsa look super, super realistic. Now, there are a lot of PP filters available for Assetto Corsa, and a lot of this is going to come down to personal preference. So what might look really, really good for me might be too light or too dark or oversaturated for you. So I would just recommend trying a few of them. I've left links down in the description below to 2 free PP filters that you can find on Race Department. And if you haven't created an account for Race Department yet, go ahead and do that. It is free. And once you've done that and you've logged in with that account on Race Department, then you'll see the download button. So the first PP filter that I'm going to show you is the C13 Aegis PP filter. And the second one is Horizon Shades. Now, both of these are very, very good in my opinion. Download both of these. You can just easily switch them in and out. It's very, very simple. But the one that I prefer is NV Photorealism from Night Venom. This is a paid for mod. It does cost £3 or just short of $4. But in my opinion, it is the best. I've tried a lot of PP filters, as you'll see a little later on when we're choosing them. Now, to install any of these, just drag and drop these into Content Manager. And you'll see the green sort of installing icon. There you go. It's telling me that I already have it and it's going to update it. So I'm going to click install. And that is it. As simple as that. Now to choose the PP filters, to select them, you're going to go into settings. We're going to go into Assetto Corsa. And then we're going to go into the video tab. On the right hand side, you can see it has post processing and filter. Now, as you can see, mine is set to NV Photorealism here. But simply just drop the arrow down and choose the PP filter that you've installed, and that is it. Now, before we can jump in a car and get out on track, there's one very important thing to do, to just check. So we want to go into settings, we want to go into Assetto Corsa and to Python apps, and we just want to make sure that these two options at the top, enable Python apps and developer apps, are enabled. And then one last check is just wherever we've got Sol, just make sure that they are ticked and that they are enabled. Now we're ready to jump in a car and get out on track. Right, so I've just jumped in Assetto Corsa for you to show you what we do next. And it's very simple, because we've chosen the car, we've chosen the track, we've chosen the weather conditions, the time of day, opponents, whether we're practicing or whatever it's going to be. And to simply drive, all you want to do is just scroll over here to the steering wheel and just click on it. And that's it. You're now free to drive. Now I just wanted to show you Sol and how you can change certain weather conditions when you're in Assetto Corsa. Now what you want to do is, now I am in VR, but it's exactly the same whether you have a screen or not. You want to just scroll to the right hand side of the screen, and up pops this menu system, and you want to click on these 4 boxes there to show you a list of all of the apps. Now if you remember, when we enabled all the Python apps, this is where they will show on the screen. So here's the pure config app that we can see here. Let's just drag it over to the center. We've got lights, night, sky, clouds, and everything else. And close that down, come back over to the right hand side. And what we want to do is we want to look for Sol Planner. Here it is, right here. So if we click on that, what you can see here is, here's the weather planner for Sol. So basically it's put us in the afternoon, because that was the time of day that we chose, 15:10 in the afternoon. What we're going to do is just click here, and here's all your weather conditions. And these are all the settings for the weather conditions. So we've got overcast checked at the minute. So if I click light rain, so you can see here light rain, you can see here that the amount of rain starts to increase as the clouds form above us. There's some dark clouds there. Rain will start to drop shortly. There you go. You can see some rain clouds here. Let's close that off again. Should be able to see. Let's put it on heavy rain actually. Oh, it's suddenly got very dark and very cloudy above us. So here we go. Here comes the rain. You can see it dropping on the car. So what we want to do is, if we want to make it completely sunny, there you go. And what will happen is the rain dries up slowly, as you can see. It's like in real conditions. It'll go all the way back to 0, and eventually it will just stop raining. You can see the droplets on the car there as I just show you, as I just look around. And to change the time of day, it's very, very simple. You can just click evening, and there you go. We have the sun setting. Here we go to sunrise. There you go, sun's coming up. and back to morning. So that's how we change the time of day, the weather conditions, and you can have a number of weather slots in here, so you can determine whether, you start the race dry, in 10 minutes you get rain. It's completely customizable, and that's completely all for you. Right, anyway, so enough of that. Let's get driving. That's why we're here. So hopefully this video has been of some use to you. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you're new to sim racing, check out the video that's on screen right now, which talks about what sim racing hardware to buy, in what order, and what mistakes to avoid.